And if so, oh fuck.
There you go.
Okay, that's all of them.
Hey guys, my name is Clint Wilson. This is my wife Jessica, and today she's going to ask me some questions about winning my pro card.
All right, let's do this. Do you believe prep requires balance or going all in, and why?
I'm going to say all in, and not just prep. I'm going to say any goal you're trying to achieve in life. I think balance equates to comfort in life. And if you're comfortable, you're not pushing yourself, you're not trying to level up, for lack of a better term. So I'm gonna say, if you really want something, go all in, get it out of the way, get it done, then you can move on to the next thing.
How do you silence your inner critic when self-doubt creeps in?
I'm gonna say I don't believe in silencing your inner critic. I think your inner critic is very important. It's something to listen to and it's something to leverage. You also need to be able to focus on your goal and stay on track. But that inner critic is going to be what's gonna keep the pressure on you. It's going to be what keeps you focused on achieving that goal, because without it, you wouldn't have aspirations. You wouldn't want to be better. Like, that critic is something that you need to be able to master and to use to your advantage.
Do you see discipline as a skill or as a decision?
I'm gonna say both. I think you first need to make the decision, and then you need to hone in on that skill. You need to master it, you need to make it better, you need to find ways to improve on it. So yeah, I'm gonna say both.
How do you handle the days when the motivation is completely gone?
To be honest, like, motivation I think is a bit overrated. I think what you really need, or what anybody can really benefit from, is setting up daily habits, daily goals, things that you can do without thinking, because you are going to have hard days, you know that. So if you leave it up to, do I feel like doing this? Chances are you're not going to do it. But if you know at 8 o'clock you get up and you do this specific thing, then at 8 o'clock it's gonna get done. So focus on setting up your routines, your habits, those foundational structures, and then the motivation means nothing.
What's one belief or mindset that carried you through your hardest prep?
I'm gonna say the belief is that I can do anything I put my mind to, with the caveat that, sometimes just doing it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to win. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be the best at it, but understanding that, I can put my best foot forward no matter what, and building that self-confidence, I think, is the killer mindset.
Who supported you unconditionally when no one else saw the vision?
My wife. Aww. Since day one. When we first met, I was prepping for my very first show. I had no clue what bodybuilding was before. She had done her first show. Our second date was a long walk on the treadmill to do my post-workout cardio. So, my whole bodybuilding career has been supported, has been surrounded, has involved heavily, and been guided by you. I wouldn't be here without you, and I know lots of people say that, but it's a fact.
I'm happy to be there for you.
Thank you.
How do you handle social events or vacations while staying on track?
Sometimes you just don't. You have to understand that if you're trying to do something significant, you're going to have to miss out on things. Back to the question of balance. Sometimes there just isn't a balance. You know what you have to do, and you have to focus on that and be okay that life goes on without you. There's going to be a point in time in your life where, yeah, you can go out, you can be social, you can enjoy everything you want, but that key is delayed gratification. So what do you want more? Do you want to be a good time, or do you want to actually achieve your goals? And you have to make that decision.
How do you reset your mindset after a loss or a setback?
I give myself 24 hours max. 24 hours to be sad, to be angry, to be depressed, whatever it may be. And then at the end of that 24 hours, I have to have a plan of what's the next step. How do I pivot? How do I keep going? What do I do next? And the majority of the time, like, it doesn't even take 24 hours. I'll be upset for like 2 hours, and then, you know, there was the Toronto show that we did, and, you know, we got off stage, we didn't win. Within 2 hours, we were booking flights to Vancouver for my next show, right? So it's just having that mindset that, you know, that short-term memory for loss and that long-term memory for lessons learned, and you just apply that to anything and everything.
How do you protect your energy and avoid burnout?
I think it's really just limiting people's access to you. A lot of people are takers, so as long as you are willing or you're open, people are going to take as much as they can from you. So you also have to be able to set your own boundaries and own that. So own that if, you know, you make yourself accessible to everybody and everybody's taking from you, you've played a part in that too. So you need to be able to manage your time wisely, manage your energy wisely, be okay with missing out on things, and just understand, like, what are your goals, what are your priorities. Write them down, talk about them with your significant other, so that, you know, there's a clear plan, there's a clear path. You know, your partner knows, you know, for this amount of time, we're locked in, we're not going out, we're not having fun, whatever it may be, but there is an end in sight. So, you know, it's not open-ended. So I think really just clear communication, boundaries, having a plan of attack set in place.
Do you have any non-fitness hobbies or passions that help you stay grounded?
Yeah, I'm a painter, I'm a sculptor. I went to a school of the arts for high school, for those of you who don't know. I'm also very handy, so like I like to do a lot of, you know, our home renovations, you know, myself when I have the time and energy. So yeah, just building stuff, anything really creative, I love doing.
Is there a moment in prep where you question everything? What gets you through that?
The only time I really question everything is after a loss. And I do, again, keep that within that a certain time span of, you know, wallowing in my self-pity and my self-doubt and then moving on. You know, I've been nationally qualified for, I think, like 6 or 7 years now. So that means that I've placed top in my class. And then there was also years where, you know, I was second overall at multiple shows for multiple years. So, you know, being that close that many times, there's been times where I've wondered, you know, does this sport love me back for as much as I've put into this sport? You know, do I actually have what they're looking for? Am I just close enough? And, you know, they want to see somebody else win above me. Is it, you know, something personal? So I've had all of those thoughts, but again, they've never stopped me. They've been, you know, you think about it and then you just move on. Like, you control what you can control and you forget about the rest.
What scares you more, failure or success?
I'm gonna say failure. Success is it's sexy, it's fun. It's you get to see, you know, all your hard work. Failure to me isn't that you tried something and you didn't get the, you know, the results you want. You know, nothing's guaranteed in life. You can go all in, you can work your hardest, you can do everything right, and you still might not get, you know, the end result you want. To me, that's not failure. To me, failure is, you know, you had an opportunity in front of you and you self-sabotaged, or you didn't work hard enough, or, you know, you didn't do what you were supposed to do. And to me, that's just a feeling that I could never live with. And that's something, like, I would never want to face you, knowing that, you know, I said I was going to do something and, you know, instead I don't know, I was lazy, I didn't work hard enough, I didn't have the mental fortitude. To me, that's failure. And that's just something that's not acceptable.
What was your I made it moment, or have you had it yet?
I'm gonna say winning my pro card was like the real first I made it moment that I've actually lived in. You know, I've had lots of, you know, promotions in my career. I've had, you know, lots of success in bodybuilding, but I've never really actually just stopped and soaked it in. I've never actually really enjoyed it. Like I said, like, you know, year after year, I've won gold medals. I've won my class, you know, year after year. So I've been consistent in what I do. But, you know, for instance, like, this is the first time post-show I've gone to the gym and, I haven't been ashamed. I haven't been, felt like I didn't actually do what I said I was going to do. So, I'd leave a show and I'd leave with a gold medal, and I'd go to the gym and everybody would be like, oh, congrats, like you did so good, you look so great. And I'd be like, yeah, like, thanks, like I got second place overall. Like, yeah, I won my class, but I've done that 5 times. So it's a really hard sport. It's a really hard mentality. Not sitting and just enjoying and smelling the roses. So this is really the first time where I've actually soaked it in. We talked about doing the pro show on the Sunday after, winning my pro card, and the decision we made was, hold off, do my pro debut when, I'm ready, and don't just compete because I can compete. Don't just compete as a pro because I have my pro card. Compete when I'm ready, and also just actually enjoy. Like, you just hit a milestone and, enjoy that moment. So again, like, this is really the first time where, I've achieved something and I'm not automatically just on to the next thing. With that being said, like, I have planned my pro debut, but I'm still in this moment, and thank you for that.
That is all of the questions that I have for you today.
Thank you very much, and thank you guys for watching. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments or reach out to me on Instagram. Thanks for watching.